there, welcome back to Scrap and Coffee. So I'm going to work on the inside covers of our beginner's mini album using the Flora No.3 by Cartabella. And I did realize that I've uploaded the cutting guide to my website, but the inside covers are not in there. So I'm going to upload an updated cutting guide. So if you've already got one, you might want to get the updated version. Or you can just, well, I'm going to mention the sizes, so that will work as well, of course. So I'm going to use these papers. I have two cutter parts. I'm going to use this one for sure. This one I might use. We'll see. But what I decided to do was cut two pieces of white, 6 1/4 by 6 1/4, to fill this in, and then I can place some pattern paper on there, 6 by 6. And we can, I'm going to do a little element here, and also going to do the same thing here, but a different element. So this is going to be a pocket, and this is going to be a little flap that you can open up. So let's first place these pieces, and I always like to use some double-sided tape for that. So these pieces are 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. And this is more so I have a little bit of time if I'm not completely straight, but it's not much. So I'm aiming for a 1/8 inch border, and I'm going to line it up with the top and bottom of this piece, and stay away also 1/8 of an inch from your gusset there. And then I give that a good burnish. Okay, then I'm going to cut a piece of this purple 6 by 6 that's going on top there. So again we have then we have that little border all around. Yep. When I'm burnishing it down now, I'm not pushing too hard on it. I just want to even out the glue a little bit, but don't want it to smoosh out everywhere. Okay, then what I'm going to use here on the front cover is this card. And then I have two pieces of cardstock. One measures 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And one measures 4 1/4 by 4 3/4. And we need to make a score line on this one. And you can make this out of one piece, but I had some scraps and I could use that, so I decided to do it out of two pieces so that I didn't have to cut into a new sheet of paper. So you're going to score with the 4 3/4 side on top at 1/2 inch, and I'm going to do that at 4 1/4. It's the same, gives me the same result. Then I'm going to apply some tape here on the dented side between the cut edge and that score line. And if I can find my scissors in between my mess, I'm going to taper that 1/2 inch. Get your 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 piece in. Of course, fold and burnish on your score line. And then we can place this on one side and it should nicely line up. So we've kind of created a sort of little booklet. Fold that in place and stick it down. Now for this card is going to be on top here, and then on the inside I'm just going to leave it white for now for photos. But you can place some pattern paper there as well, of course, and maybe create a photo spot for a smaller photo or something. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. And also here, what I might do is, yeah, I'm going to do that. Give me 1 second. This is what I've used on the front cover. And I'm just going to cut a little piece of that. And I'm just going to stick that here, make it a little, stick it out a little so you can see, you can lift that up. But I'm going to tape it on the top flap, somewhat centered, so let's figure that out. And then I'm going to use that smaller tape. This is 4 1/4, so 2 1/8 of an inch is the center. And then from the center, I'm going to mark 1/8 of an inch on both sides. That's just a little guideline for me to see where I want to have this. And then I'm going to apply a small piece of tape. Going to stay away a little bit from the cut edge. This tape is probably way too long, but that's okay. Just make sure that I have enough. Yeah, I want to have the good side of the ribbon showing here. So here I'm going to do the same thing. Find the center quickly, and I'm going to make my mark a little bit away from the edge to make sure that I'm not able to see it. Then I'm going to determine like how far do I want it to stick out. Well, I'm going for about this, about 1/2 an inch. And then I mark to where I want to have the tape. So again, I'm staying away a little bit from the edge with my tape. And then I'm using my pencil lines to guide the ribbon where I want it. Just like that. So this is not a closure, it's just so people know like, hey, I can do something with that. So I can glue this card down. And now here you will see it, but so you can place a piece of pattern paper there if you want to hide it, or you just cover it up with your photo. But like I said, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, so I'm just leaving it for now. And then for using a closure, I'm going to use a little magnet on here, but just a really small one. These are magnets that I've bought a while back. They're really small and they're not super strong, so I don't use them often, but for these sort of things they are kind of perfect actually. So just take two, and these don't have any adhesive on them, so I'm just taking this tape that's lying here. So I'm just going to decide where do I want it. Let's just place it on top of the ribbon there. Then I get a little piece of tape and I'm just sticking it down. Then I drop the other magnet on top so I know which is the right direction. Hold it in the right direction, and then so I have the tape here with the sticky side facing up, and I drop the magnet on top of that. And then I'm going to close this. Carefully push on it a little bit, not too much. Just enough for the tape to stick, hopefully. Yep. And then I burnish the tape on. So again, you can hide that later on with a photo or with pattern paper. And now this is going on top of here, and I'm going to do it centered. But I'm just eyeballing that. So yeah, I am going to use my double-sided tape for that. Done. That's the front cover. So then for the back. Again, I have that 6.5 by 6.5 inch piece that I'm going to stick down there. So let's start with that. And I didn't use my wet glue this time, but that's okay. Then I have one more piece. This is 7.25 by 3.5 inches, and we're going to make some score lines. This is going to be a pocket. So I'm going to put it with the 7.25 inch side on top, and I'm going to score it 1/2 inch at 6.75. So that's 1/2 inch from this side. Turn it to the longer side, and then you can score either at 1/2 inch, but I'm going to do that on 3 inches, so that's 1/2 inch from that side. And then I'm going to apply some tape, but I'm almost out, so let's hope I can make it. On the dented side, on the 3 sides with a score line, between the cut edge and the score line, and I always stay a little bit closer to that cut edge, and I think I'm managed to do this almost exactly with that roll of tape. Then I'm going to miter the corners. Just cut at an angle through your score lines where they meet. And fold on the score lines. Check if they don't have any overlapping, so that's fine. And this pocket I'm going to place here on that back cover, lining it up with the bottom here and with the edges of that 6.5 inch piece that we've just placed. And then we have to think about our pattern paper there. But I do have an idea of what I want to do. So there we go. So what I was thinking of is place this pattern on this page and on the pocket. Have the purple here on the back side. But I might change it up, but then we have this card that I'm going to back with some white cardstock, and I think I'm going to place it over the pocket. I think I like that. So I'm going to cut the pieces. This is just perfect. I'm just going to leave it. Then it's all the way to the bottom. We have that construction strip, hide it. And I think when we have a little bit of white border here, then it's fine that it's the same pattern on top of each other. So this needs to be 6 by 6. This needs to be 6 by 2 3/4. This piece was cut by 2 1/4 by 4 1/4, the white. You just want to go for a border that you to your liking. And we'll see how that looks. So that's prepared. So again, try to get that piece over that construction strip. And that's sometimes quite the struggle. Yeah, there we go. I hope my glue didn't dry already. It's not lying as, you know, when in the previous video when I was decorating, I could really lie it flat on my work surface. That's why I did the decorating before attaching it, because now it's still possible to do it, but it's a little less easy. So now this one, I was thinking about placing it here. But I'm not quite sure if I like it. Maybe it's a little bit too big to my liking. I'm covering up quite a lot of the beautiful flowers there. So maybe I'm not going to glue it down now, because maybe I can use it for something else, or I'm still going to place it there, I don't know. But if I would glue it down, you're only going to glue it on the bottom part. Don't glue it here, because then your pocket is closed. And then you can use this pocket to place photos in there. Now what I've also done is cut some photo mats, and these are 6 by 4. So if you want to place a 6 by 4 on here, you have to crop it down a little bit, but they fit perfect in these pockets and also in these pockets here. So if you just cut them 6 by 4, I'll already have one in there, then that will fit. And then you can also place one here in this direction, but it will also fit in the other direction. So yeah, you can see what you want to have in there for yourself. And then what I'm going to do is, I have some, like I said in the previous video, I had some new dies ordered. Well, they came in, and they are actually stitched rectangle dies. And the largest one is, I think, 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. But yeah, I really love that stitch look. So I'm probably going to place like for example one here, and then I'm going to see where I want it, but you can play around with that. You can play them in every orientation that you want. And then I'm going to add some stickers, and I have these die cuts. I've used one here already, like the tags with a stitched edge in several sizes, so maybe I can use that. I can make them out of white, but I can also make them out of the pattern paper, just to really highlight the photo, draw your attention towards the photo spot. And then I'm going to glue this down, and then you're going to crop your photo, or on this one you can do a 3x4 exactly, and you can just place your photo on the white. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to make some nice, well, hopefully some nice spots on every page, like here. I can also use smaller sizes on here, or even smaller than this, or like right here. This is I think this is a nice size for this page. And I can do that in either direction. I can place 1, I can place 2, but I think I will just go for 1. Yeah, and you will see the end result of that in the project share, which will be the last video. So this, yeah, I'm going to see what I'm going to do with it. I'm just going to place it in the pocket for now. So this is the inside cover that I still owe you. And then, yeah, I'm going to do the final decorations, and then it's done. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the project share. Bye bye.